Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to the Weekend Roundup or
the Weekend Warmup.
The Weekend Warmup for this week. This is our new segment. If you have been living under a fucking rock and you don't know what we're doing,
we're at 2 eps a week now.
Yeah, we're at 2 eps a week kind of show now, and we are doing advice on Thursdays called the Weekend Warmup. If you like this segment thus far, or you would like to be a part of this segment, you can submit your questions for advice. It is always in the link of the bio of whatever you're watching this on right now, whether it be streaming or YouTube. It's there. It's also in our Instagram bio. Send us your questions. It's 100% anonymous. We don't know who it is. Or you can submit them through our DMs too. And that's my disclaimer. Thank you.
Beautiful. That was
Let's jump right into it.
So smooth. I was going to say, I will read the first question here.
Sorry, we have to be quick. I have to go write a paper.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
Summer school grind is real, and I'm fucking will need to talk about it because
summer school is not it, guys.
I need to talk about
it's it, but it's not it.
I know we're starting to come to the end of our college days here on the pod, which is kind of
I don't want to talk
up
about
to
it.
say, but
I don't want to talk about
I need to do a whole section on debriefing what summer school is and the emotional abuse and the Anyways, I'm being really dramatic. I have to write a paper on the Matrix. I don't know why I'm acting like this.
Okay, you are a PR kid.
I know.
Hey, it's on the Matrix?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I watched it for the first time last night.
Are you serious? Why was I going to watch it last night for the first time?
I kind of dazed in and out. Like, it was really long.
I'm more of
welcome back to the movie review corner.
I'm more of a Point Break kind of gal, but
it was, yeah, I don't know.
We'll get into that later. I'll help you with your paper. Anyways, so, first question. Is there any way to let a guy know that you like him, even if they told you they don't want a relationship, but they also want the relationship advantages with you? That's how it goes. It's annoying. Also, going to mention, almost every time a guy has told me that they don't want a relationship or can't commit, they tend to be in a committed relationship with another girl in a couple of months after being with me. LOL, I'm starting to think it's me. All right, well, queen... It does sound like it's you, but here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a secret. I think a lot of people say that they don't want to be in a committed relationship as an excuse to end things with someone. So I don't want to be bearer of bad news here, but I think that was just a way for them to get out of the situation with kind of a clean break, you know? It's like, oh, well, I just don't want that right now. Sorry. Bye. Like, oh, we just want different things.
Yeah. It is unfortunate, and it is an unfortunate answer that I'm going to give you, but I agree with Maddie because I've done that too, been the whole like, oh, I don't want anything serious, to kind of like back out of something. Sometimes I'm being for real, like I don't want everyone who I've said that to think that I was trying to back out, but like there have been times where I have used that excuse. Also, another thing, and I know that people don't want to hear me say this over and over and over and over again on the show, but I will until you bitches stop sending me questions. That's the answer to. You need to set boundaries with this person. Obviously, this is somebody that you are seeing or hooking up with that you want it to be more serious with, and they don't. But they still want the relationship advantages. So what that reads to me is that what your situation is right now is that you're basically doing everything that a couple would do. But they don't want to make it serious, put a label on it, and you want to be with them and want to be in a relationship. So you think that like if you guys just continue to play house like this, then it will like eventually turn into a relationship. And that is not me speaking down on you or to you, because I have done it. You have done it. We've all seen it happen to our friends and our loved ones where it's like they're playing house with someone and, you know, kind of pretending to be their girlfriend or pretending to be their boyfriend when the other person is like, no, we're not together, but they act like your partner. A lot of the time when you're in it and you like this person, you will just keep doing the everyday with them like you're doing in that routine, which it will continue to become like more and more hurtful for you, because it's like the more time you spend with someone, the more comfortable you get, and then it's like next thing you know, you guys are meeting each other's family and cooking dinner together every night and sleeping together, and they're seeing you in pimple patches and your hair up in a braid and like just looking gross,
but
and they're
you're not
like
dating.
but I'm not your boyfriend, or like, but I'm not your girlfriend. So the solution to this is because guys, and I'm assuming that this is like a straight girl talking about like a straight guy, so I'm just gonna go with that perspective. The thing with guys is like, they're not gonna, this sucks, I hate saying this, they're not gonna go with the person that like lets them get away with this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're continuing to just like let them sleep in your bed every night and cook dinner every night and meet their family and go out and meet their friends and do this, but they don't want to put a title on it, it's like, you're not gonna keep doing that till you get to a point where they do want to do that. You might.
Well, here's the thing. What are you just putting a label on it? They're getting everything that they can have with a label and are allowed to see other people, you know? So like, they're not going to put a label on it so they can't see other people when they're already getting the full package.
The full package.
You know what you should watch though?
What?
He's Just Not That Into You.
I did watch that.
Not you.
Oh.
This person.
I was like, I did watch that movie.
I'm not saying like
if anyone watches
He's Just Not That Into You, but
yeah, He's Just Not That Into You is essentially what we're getting at.
And that movie honestly gives so much perspective to situations like this, and if anyone listening is in a situation like this, they definitely should watch that movie.
My fun tidbit is that Katie from Vanderpump Rules, formerly married to Tom, they just got a divorce. She's in that movie. She's in one of the opening scenes.
Awesome.
And she's an extra. I watched it for the first time and I was like, holy shit, that's Katie from Vanderpump Rules.
Like, no freaking way.
I feel like Pop Pod. But like, I think that, and I've seen this happen too, both myself and with others, where it's like, I want to be in a relationship with them so bad, and then we stop talking, and then all of a sudden they're in a serious relationship. And it's because
Ain't that the worst?
And it's because this is why. And this is a black and white answer for sure. But it's because they were with someone who let them do whatever they wanted with essentially no consequences. That person being you, sorry.
Yeah.
And then that ended for whatever reason, and they met someone else who they also wanted to be with. But this person was like, you don't get to be with me until, you know what I mean? You have to set that line, and it's easy for that line to get crossed because we are in such like a casual hookup culture day and age now. But if a long-term like serious relationship is what you're looking for with somebody, then you have to go about it differently because they're two different things.
Yeah. So basically our answer to your question,
my long-winded answer is
there any way to let a guy know that you like him even if they told you they don't want a relationship but they also want the relationship advantages with you? Say, yo, you're not getting the relationship advantages unless we're in a relationship. So, like,
let's think of some examples.
Start cutting things back.
Don't
hang out with them.
They can't have sleepovers. Yeah. Don't answer their texts and their phone calls right away. Go out with just your friends this weekend and not them, and don't text them. Yeah. Like, start pulling back. Guys like that when you pull back a little. Honestly, then they'll kind of start coming after you a little bit more.
Ignore him.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude.
I don't want to say ghost him.
I don't want to say ghost him, but definitely ignore him. It worked every time in my books.
If you pull away,
I always say
you a little bit
if
more.
you change your behavior in any kind of way, people notice. So if you're texting them a lot, text them a little. If you're texting them a little, maybe text them a lot. Not in this case, but like, you know what I mean? Like if you're trying to show someone you like them, do the opposite of whatever you normally do. And
I hope that didn't come off as like, you shouldn't sleep with someone until you want to date them, because that's not what I'm getting at, obviously.
No, I don't think it did.
Just like, you need to have different boundaries and different,
you can sleep with them. Don't go get dinner with them.
Don't let them sleep over.
We're actually hitting the exact opposite point. I feel like.
Okay.
It's like
good. I get nervous.
Yeah, I do too. Especially with the advice, because I'm like, you guys are putting a lot of pressure on us to answer these questions. Even though you probably asked like 3 months ago, and we're just getting into it now. It's probably over.
And this is a very simplified, like, kind of wrap up key takeaway. But like Maddie said, if you're going into relationships like again and again and again, and you're doing the same thing again and again and again, and it's ending this way, then you need to try something different.
Yeah, you're not going to get the same results.
Yeah.
And it must be happening multiple times, because you said every time this has happened. So it's obviously happened more than once. So that's our advice.
Good luck.
I hope it helps.
I really do.
Let us know. Send us a message or send us another like anonymous thing and let us know what happened. Give us an update. I love to hear about it.
We've all been there, right? And then it's like once you hear that and like you change your perspective on it, and that's what your perspective is. You're like, it changes.
Yeah.
Like I've been in that boat, and I don't find myself in that boat much anymore because of like the regulations I've put in for
the
myself.
Mindset change. All right, question 2. Hey, ladies. Hey. Awesome pod.
Thank you. I love when we read the compliments.
I know.
So everyone knows.
I'm like, just so you guys know.
If you guys do want your question to be pushed to the top, make sure to add a paragraph about how much you love us at the bottom. We'll be sure to just really answer that right away.
Brutal. I wanted to ask you how to recommend ending a toxic friendship. I have a friend who reaches out often. We live in different provinces, but they are not there to talk when I text them, and they never ask about me. Just tell me about themselves. How do I end this without feeling like a dick? Thanks.
Okay, so we don't want to save the friendship. We just want to end it.
Yeah. How do we recommend ending a toxic friendship? They live in a different province.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, like I almost think you could kind of just drift apart.
You know, here's the thing. like
next time they're there, they try to text you, maybe just don't answer for a bit.
But what if
don't be there?
Like blowing up their phone with like super traumatic shit. Like, you know, the person who's just always trauma dumping on you. Like, how do you
I'm like, sorry?
How do you
I'm sorry? It's been a tough few months. Sorry.
The thing is, like, with friends and like toxic friendships or toxic relationships are a little bit more, but I guess toxic friends is one of the best advice that I have been told was from, I don't even want to shout him out for this, Brad from the Wicker Chair episode.
Oh, not Brad.
And I think I have said this before, but I'll say it again. When you're like ending something, this is not as smart as Brad said it, by the way, but I'm crediting him for the idea. Okay. When you're ending something toxic with somebody, the feeling before doing it is so much worse than the feeling after doing it. The feeling, like the stakes that you put in your mind about ending this thing, like the way that it's like they're gonna freak out and it's gonna be this huge deal.
It's never that serious.
You know, it's always worse going into, I shouldn't say always. Most of the time you get yourself really worked up and the stakes are so high and you're so scared to do it. And then when you do it, it's brutal, but the feeling afterwards, like you feel so light. There's such a weight lifted off your back. Clearly this is bothering you. Mm-hmm. Them living in a different province is kind of a plus.
Kind of a major plus.
Because
honestly,
you don't have to actually like see them or deal with them. But honestly, there's multiple approaches. One, you could do what Maddie did and just like start drifting like slowly. Mm-hmm. And like if they send you this big long fucking paragraph or they're calling you, just be like, hey, sorry, you know, I'm busy. I've been busy, you know, just like drift apart slowly like that. And then if it ever does get brought up, honesty is always the best policy. Mm-hmm. And just say like, I feel like our friendship is very one-sided and I don't feel like you're there for me like I am for you. And I kind of just got to focus on myself because I'm busy right now. So I'm just kind of like doing my own thing. That's a pretty decent, like non-confrontational way to cut it off, you know?
And that's fair. Even if you just said, yo, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I don't have time to deal with anyone else's problems because I got my own. Mm-hmm. That's, I think that's valid.
Yep.
I think that's valid. And let me see. I feel like there was something else. How do I end this without feeling like a dick?
You're not a dick.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel like a dick.
Because you gotta like protect your own energy. Protect your own peace.
Protect the peace.
And and obviously this person's not serving you anymore. Like I said, it's very one-sided. And if anything, it seems like it's a weight on your back and stringing you down.
Yeah, seriously, you're sending in questions to two people
that you don't know. Yeah. You're obviously very stressed out.
Obviously, you're going through it. So just don't even sweat it. Honestly, this is not on you. You know, you gotta surround yourself with people who make you the best version of yourself.
You're gonna feel better after doing it.
You're gonna feel way better. So just
cut them off.
Like, just do it already. Okay, next question isn't really a question, but it's really nice. So we're going to read it. And also we're going to like kind of answer a little bit.
Elaborate.
And we're going to elaborate. Okay.
It's not a question, but it's a compliment.
It's not really a question, but it is a compliment. I have a job interview in a couple days and I'm pretty nervous. So much so that I'm losing sleep. Normally when I get this anxious, I turn on any podcast that involves storytelling and it knocks me out. Scrolling through my Spotify, nothing sounded appealing, but I know Lauren from cheerleading and I've seen her Weekend Roundup content on socials. I had never tuned in before, but I thought, at the least, if I don't absorb the content, my Spotify will continue playing episodes all night and it might help further boost the podcast and in turn support the girls. That's a real one right there.
That's a real fucking fan right there.
Thank you so much.
I don't know.
That's so
I wish
nice.
I knew who it was.
She'll probably DM us.
Yeah, hopefully DM us.
Because that's literally that's so thoughtful.
Yeah,
like as a PR kid, that's so thoughtful to know that
we're thinking of our analytics.
We got to run the numbers, okay? We need the engagement. And so that's really sweet. So all of you listening, if you're sleeping tonight, you better be playing the Weekend Roundup on repeat while you're in bed.
Because who doesn't want to listen to this lovely voice in your ear all night? It's meditative.
Give us some listens. Anyways, she said, well, it's 1:30 a.m. and I'm 3.5 hours into listening and I cannot stop. I'm invested. Keep doing what you do. Love to see it.
So nice.
So nice. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I needed that.
Yeah.
I need a little pick me up, a little, reminder of why we do this. So it's always nice to read that. And we wanted to talk about job interview tips. So we thought this was a very good
way to kind of transition.
Yeah.
A weird time to be doing it. I don't know how many people are doing job interviews right now, but whatever.
Like we probably missed the summer job rush.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So Maddie and I guess I'll just quickly explain that like I said, we're in PR. We had 3 co-ops this through our degree, so 3 work terms. So we did 3 rounds of like corporate interviews.
Intense corporate interviews.
Yeah.
Super competitive. Like,
very competitive.
And it's basically it's like a 2-month period. All these job postings go up at the same time and everyone in our program is fighting for them all at the same time to get like the best ones. And so you have to apply with like cover letters, resumes,
writing samples,
jobs require
portfolios.
Different things. Graphic design samples I've sent in. Just like a bunch of random things, and then they select who they want to interview, and then there's like an interview week where you have crazy number of interviews,
wild
back
to back interviews again and again
and it's like you and all your friends are all interviewing for like the same places and the same jobs, and it's just like very intense. Very fun though. Not gonna lie,
I love that week.
No, it's a good week. It's stressful and like in the moment you're like, okay, this is not it. This is not fun. But like once you secure a job, you're like, okay, that was kind of a rush.
Do you have interview anxiety like more than the normal person, would you say?
Yeah, I'm really bad at interviews.
Really?
I don't like interviewing.
Okay.
Because I'm much more of like okay, I just want to sit down and like talk and like tell a story. I'm like, I don't like interviews.
The origin story of the show.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's super weird. And like also interviewers are trained to not give emotion. You know, like interviews are always like, hi, how are you? Or like they're supposed to be. So it's always, I just hate that. Like honestly, I need instant validation.
Same. There was, most of them actually I didn't find were too bad. Like most of them were pretty reactive. But there was this
that
one.
That sucks too though, because then
you get your hopes up
and you're like, oh, I have that job in the bag.
And then you don't.
You just absolutely
There was
don't.
one like Canadian government position that both of us have interviewed for.
Okay.
And they were so monotone. I should say he was so monotone. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah. That shook me to my core because here's the thing. I do often just like make people like laugh or smile or like something in interviews because I try to be very personable and very bubbly. And I was just turning it all the way on for this guy and he was just like,
The government's insane too for interviews because you have to do like written tests.
Yeah.
And you have to do like timed things, like time tests, and so it's really scary.
Did you do that for that job?
I don't think I did it for that job.
But yeah, anyways.
I don't think I ever applied to another government
job. Yeah, no. But that's our credentials for interviewing. I actually like interviews. Like I do really like them.
I like cover letters.
I don't like cover letters.
I could sit there and write a little cover letter, a little story all day.
No.
Here's a fun fact. I have never written a cover letter that hasn't gotten me an interview. And
really?
And I've even written cover letters for other people and they've always gotten an interview. Isn't that kind of that's kind of like a huge flex
that
in our
is
program.
a superpower.
I'm not gonna lie.
That is a superpower.
Like I was like,
Maddie is a very, very skilled writer.
I can cop an interview.
Very talented.
Oh, thank you, Laura. That was nice.
You're welcome. I don't get interview anxiety. I mean, of course, I get like nervous and I get anxious before I go in, of course. But nothing too insane. No, not like I'm not up the night before, nervous, nothing like that. But producer Brianna has a horrible fear of interviews, and I'm gonna kind of throw her under the bus right now a little bit. But she really struggles with interviews and like.
But she's so good.
That's the thing.
It's crazy.
She really struggles like emotionally with interviews. Like she will be up, as you guys know, me and Brianna are roommates. So when we were doing our co-op week, it was the two of us like a room apart from each other doing them, and we would come out and be like, how was it for you?
Yeah, because it was all online.
It was all online. We were in COVID, and then also like we were kind of interviewing for some of the same spots too.
So it was like
one place did an interview, and they interviewed her, and the Wi-Fi went out in my room, so I did the interview with the same place right after her in the same room, and their faces were like, what the fuck?
Hey.
And I was like, yeah, Brianna's my roommate, and you just interviewed her. Anyway, funny story. But something that really helps her out is like, and this is again shows what an academic she is. She over like studies for the interview almost. I always see her like she checks the websites, she looks through everything you need to know about this company. Brianna will know, and she'll put it up on her computer screen and like just have it as a reference. Obviously, you can't do that in an in-person interview, but just a little
study
tip.
And know it, memorize
it.
Yeah, the more you know about the
business.
company or the organization, wherever it is, the more you know, the better off you're going to be, because a lot of companies, I find too, try to like slip you up.
Yeah.
And like not even just the company, the industry. Like I know one of our friends did a interview for a environmental nonprofit, and one of the questions was about like electric buses. I personally, if I was asked that question, I would know nothing. I would know literally nothing. But she was able to like write a whole thing. It was like a test in the interview. She had to write a paper about electric buses in the interview.
I love sliding in a little reference to the company. You know, like,
of course.
If they're ever, like, and do you have any volunteer experience? Like, I'll talk about mine, and I'll be like, and this is something that's really interesting because I saw that you guys also do, work for Feed Nova Scotia or something like that. Yeah. Slip that in so
and
they
know. What? That brings up such a valid next point, is that always relate everything, always relate your experience back to the company at the end.
And why is it relevant?
And why is that experience good for this job? So like, in one of my last co-ops, I actually managed 3 Instagram accounts, and not me talking about PR. I'm being like, I was managing Instagram accounts.
We're almost in our degree, and you are going to hear about
it. They always make the students do the socials. It's like a whole thing. Anyways, I actually managed 3 Instagram accounts, and this, blah, blah, blah. And, I saw in your job description that would be a responsibility that I would be taking on in this position. So always do that. And that's also really good for your cover letter, just to throw that in there. You always want to bring back, how does your experience relate to the job?
So, like I said, Brianna gets really nervous for interviews. And she just beats herself up about them. She does everything she can to avoid having to do them. And it's really funny because she's so flipping good at them.
She gets like literally every
single job that she interviews for, she gets, because she's that good at interviews, and she will stay up all night worried sick about them. She'll be anxious about them afterwards. Like, it's horrible. And I think because Brianna does a really, really great job of acting confident and like acting like she's comfortable. She's a very kind of like introverted person, but whenever we go out, everyone likes her because she's so fun to talk to and has a fun energy to be around, and that comes through in her interviews. And it's kind of like how our queen, Maddie from Euphoria, said in the show, confidence is the one thing that people can't tell you're faking.
Yeah, that's facts.
A lot easier to say than do, but at the end of the day, it is true. Like, if you go in there and act as if you're getting this job, your hands could be physically shaking the entire time, doesn't matter.
Yeah, as long as you're steady and confident with it, then you'll probably get hired, honestly.
A great resource too is TikTok. If you look up TikTok like interview tips, I have a whole saved file on my TikTok account. You can like save your videos and then organize them into little things.
Look at you.
I have this little work file, and it's like all these cool. TikTok is such a great resource. Like, there's so many videos on there about like how to answer certain questions, like good ways for interviews, bad ways, what to wear to an interview, how to act in an interview. There's a lot of videos out there by people who are a lot more smart and a lot smarter and more educated and more qualified than I am to give you advice on interviews.
No, do you know why I'm laughing right now? So remember that PR public speaking class we met in?
I do.
Part of that was like an interview, like, I don't know, like section or whatever.
Right, when she just asked everybody a bunch of random questions.
She was like, look, so
she was a very...
Before you go into the...
bang, bang, bang professor, she was very scary.
Very scary. And public speaking at that. And so...
First years, we're terrified.
No, literally. It was before we had done any co-op. So she's like telling us about the interview process. We're freaking out. And she's like, okay, I'm going to tell you guys some questions that had been asked to past co-op students before. And we're like, okay.
I'm thinking she's like gonna be like,
she has the slides
release?
On. Yeah. She has the slides on. She clicks it. It's like, how many cows currently reside in Canada? Bro, what? She was like, look, a lot of people ask this question just to see how up to date you are on the news and current events. And I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that though? So literally before every interview, I Google how many cows are in Canada. Terrified of that question.
You know what I think of?
What?
She had another question that traumatized me.
I was going to say, which one? Because I have another one too.
That class. I have emotional damage from that class.
We could actually do an episode about our public speaking class, as we should. I think we should.
Put her in the notes.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Mine was when she went up there and she was like, okay, everyone. It was like, what song represents your work ethic?
Yeah.
And so then she goes around, she's asking random people, what song did you think of? Because I'll never forget mine.
And mine was it was, I don't remember what mine was, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I didn't have one because whenever profs say that, I'm always like, I don't know.
I had mine in my head. She didn't ask me, thank God, because I look back and I'm like, oh, she would have ripped me a new one. Mine was Billionaire.
Yeah, I want to be a billionaire so fucking bad.
And I was like, thank God she didn't ask me, but she did ask this poor girl in the back of the class.
Seriously.
And she was like, what song would you say? And she goes, probably Hakuna Matata, because it's like, you don't want to like get too stressed out and all this stuff.
Means no worries.
Means
for the rest
no worries.
Of your days.
And this woman was like, that is what you want to give to an interviewer. That's what you want to tell them. Hakuna Matata went on this huge rant about how that was the stupidest interview she'd ever, or the stupidest answer she'd ever heard. And the girl dropped the class that day. And we were like a month into the class.
No. The way that people dropped that class every single time we showed up.
Every class there was somebody else was gone.
Another one. Like by the
That's
time
how we became close because we were like, dude, are we gonna make it to the end of this?
Our class group chat was called. No, I can't. Can we?
No, I don't know.
We shouldn't say that. It was a joke. But like we shouldn't say that.
We'll talk about it and then maybe we'll.
I don't think we should say that.
I don't think so either.
But it was funny. It was like it wasn't anything like mean. Like
no.
But
we do still attend the university.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to graduate. But the second part of that question was literally, and then she goes, okay.
We're making this person's anxiety so much worse. We're like, listen to this unhinged professor we had.
Next thing she says, the prof goes, all right, stand up and sing the song. They're going to ask you to do that in the interview. Like, she was like, I've had co-op students who had to sing their favorite song to the interviewer to see how comfortable and confident
I've had students who had to literally kill their fucking family to get a job. Like, she was so intense.
So intense. So literally this girl's like, Hakuna Matata. It means no worries. We're all like,
it was an ego death for her. It was an ego death. Yeah, girl, fuck it up.
No, it was like so awkward. Like, and I almost think she did that so that when we actually went into our interviews, it was fine. It was never going to be that bad. I was never going to have to be like, yo, I'm going to have to stand up and sing right now.
She had good intentions.
Maybe it was like some kind of interesting teaching method now that I'm looking back. But, definitely Google how many cows are in Canada at the moment.
Make sure you're well prepared, for sure.
It's like the number actually changes like kind of a lot.
It's something you got to keep up to date on. You could do a Google alert and maybe just check in like cow population.
No, it stresses me. But look, I'm sure your interview is not going to be as bad as one like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely already happened.
Yeah, that's an old question. So I'm
so
sure you did really well.
I'm sure you did great. I hope you got the job.
Yeah,
Also, another tip and my last tip, just for confidence and for feeling confident. This was another thing said. Oh, sorry,
Beep out
Bleep
the name of
our
please.
prof. But she said go in the bathroom and do like a power stance.
So
literally you just stand with
your
stand like a big
your
star,
head, like a big starfish, and she was like, stand like this
for as long as you can,
for as long as you can, and just like think about how powerful you are, and then you'll be way better.
Yeah,
I did it actually.
I did it too.
For our first speech in that class.
Okay, yeah.
I went in the little seat and bathroom and did a stance.
It
didn't help.
No.
I was still shit nervous, but
I feel like it kind of centers you.
It does center you.
If you're like really stressed out before an interview, you can just get centered real quick.
Just do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, well, this isn't that serious, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's never that serious.
Yeah. I don't know if that was helpful at all, but
fun to talk about. I do think we need to do a public speaking recap.
No, I know. We got to get
that class was insane.
Yeah,
that class was actually insane.
I've never had another university class live up to it. Like it was really one in its own. And I've tried to find the prof online, can't find them. Honestly, she was an enigma to me.
Was she even real?
Was she even real?
Was she even a real person?
I don't know. Anyways, I got to go write my paper on the Matrix. So that is all the advice that we have for you on this lovely Thursday. We hope you're enjoying the weekend warm up. Like I said, submit your questions in the bio down below or in our Instagram. And we'll see you back here on Sunday for the roundup.
Talk soon.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Weekend Warmup. Make sure you come back on Sunday to hear some more crazy stories. And I hope that this advice paid off. Never know how it really goes. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell button. And if you're listening, make sure to rate and review. And also maybe subscribe. Thanks.